Hi, everybody, and welcome to 6 Months Later, the podcast 180 Days in the Making, where we talk to interesting people about their lives and their hopes for the future. And then we talk to them again in 6 months to see if they have figured out that it was us that stole their identity based on the information that they gave us in the first interview. I am your host. My name is Matthew Shadorn, and I am joined, as always, by my partner in crime and co-host,
Tara Newton-Wordsworth. Hello.
Hey, Tara. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you, Matt. How are you?
I'm all right. I have intermittent periods of consciousness due to having a little baby. I lose track of days and stuff. I don't know what it's going to be like next week when I have to go back to work. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh my God. How's the sleep? Like how often is he waking up?
He's on a good schedule with like every 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, he gets fed. Mm-hmm. And then in between then he just kind of like sleeps because he doesn't do much anything these days because he's still very newborn. And so that's good. So it's basically like we feed him, we change him, and then we put him down for 2 hours. And he kind of just sleeps, So, but then those 2 hours are the only time we really have to do stuff. So
yeah, it's really important to rest though, isn't it? Because it's that thing where you feel tempted to be like, oh, I'm going to clean the house, or I'm going to get up to date on that washing, or I'm going to do some work or whatever. And it's like, well, actually, you probably really need to get some sleep too. Yeah,
that's the thing that I've been running into is then I'll do the kind of thing because I never had good, sleep hygiene before, like sleep habits. Because I'll often like lay in bed and then just scroll on my phone or read on the tablet or something. And now I really can't do that because if I'm like, I'll just scroll on my phone for an hour and it's like, well, that was half the time I had allotted to sleep. Now when I try to go to sleep, I can only really, it takes me half an hour to get to sleep and then I'm only sleeping for half an hour and then the whole thing's pointless anyways. But yeah, so that's pretty much my life. Mostly this liminal state between consciousness and unconsciousness, which is where all the great ideas come from, I think. And so, yeah. What about you, Tara? What is new with you?
It's really funny, but I feel like just the last few days I've had that real sense of like it's just getting to be a bit easier for the first time, I think, with my two boys, who now Sammy's coming up to being 2 and Charlie's coming up to being 3.5. And I think I took them for a walk the other day up to the park. They both walked the whole way there and the whole way back by themselves. Oh. Not by themselves. I mean, obviously with me. As in, like, what I mean is they didn't go in the buggy because I didn't even take a buggy.
Oh, okay.
And they're just getting to be more kind of, I don't know, just independent, playful, like really fun. Charlie's having really funny conversations now and talking to me about things about life. And he's so fascinated about, he was like telling me about anti-gravity the other day. And I don't know, he's just always talking about really interesting stuff. And Sammy is just so loving, like so affectionate. And I think I've just started to feel, I feel bad saying this because obviously you're like right at the beginning, but it's that thing of like that real period where you're exhausted for so long. I feel like I've been exhausted for like 3.5 years.
Right.
And because I didn't really give myself a break, like I guess when Charlie was just starting to come out of that, we had Sam. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I feel like I'm just starting to sort of get a sense of myself back and also a real sense of fun with them. And I feel bad for saying this as well, but I'm kind of enjoying lockdown now. Like I feel it's just, our life has become so simple and everything is so minimal, and I feel like I'm just finding the joy in the small number of things we are allowed to do and not worrying so much about other stuff. So it's been a weird, like, obviously there have been things I really miss in lockdown. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I feel it's given me such an appreciation for like really basic, simple things, like just being with my family, that I just never really, I don't feel like I had that before. I felt I was so driven before to be like, oh, I've got to do an Edinburgh show. I've got to be doing this. I've got to be going and doing stand-up. I've got to be doing something, like when the boys are sleeping. I've got to constantly be doing stuff. And yeah, it's been nice to just sort of take it easy for a while.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a very positive way to look at it and to cope with it, to lockdown things.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I feel, I'd love to like go, traveling again and stuff. But at the same time, I just think it's not even worth thinking about at the moment.
Yeah.
So what about you? Like, do you have any kind of, well, obviously you're going back to work next week. How do you feel about, that? And
we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? That such a short sort of break, I guess, when you have a new baby for paternity allowance.
Like, I don't know, like 2 weeks seemed like a massive amount of time, but then now that it's almost over, it feels like it really just flew by. Also, like, it was such a waste because he was in, like, Alice and he were in the hospital for like 3 or 4 days of that first week. So that was like just time I was just sitting at home cooling my heels with, like, it was just a waste of my paternity leave. Anyways, I don't know. I'll see how it is going back to work next week. I feel like this isn't very funny. Let's see.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think we're probably both quite tired. So what about, do you have any predictions for the future?
Predictions
6
for the
months?
future. I don't know. I'm thinking something about coffee is going to happen. I feel like I'm worried about coffee, both on a personal level and on a global scale. And I'm worried that something bad's going to happen with coffee. Either I'm not going to be able to drink it anymore, or it's just not going to be accessible to anybody. The last time I went and got coffee from my favorite coffee roaster, they were very running low on supplies. And I'm worried that, like, maybe it'll be a thing where, like, coffee will be hard to come by. And I'm like, should I be stockpiling it now? Should I not be stockpiling it? So I'm just in my head, I'm worried about coffee, and that's what I'm thinking about today. And maybe it's just that coffee is the only thing that's keeping me running these days. So, like, the idea that it might be cut off or somehow inaccessible to me is like a terrifying existential problem. But yeah, I think that's mostly what I'm predicting. Something's going to happen with coffee, and it's going to be bad, or not. I don't know. Like, it'll be disruptive, and I'm worried about it. So that's it.
Wow, that is concerning. I mean, coffee is important.
It is.
It's how I start my day. So I would be very sad if it was gone. Yeah. Okay. Well, keep me up to date. If you do hear anything, can you let me know so I can start stockpiling?
Okay.
Okay. Well, I don't really. 6 months time from now, predictions for the future. Do you know? I keep sort of learning about space because my son's so into it, and sometimes I get really concerned about that we're going to collide with something. I guess since we spoke to
Andrew
about his book Ageless, and also and he said the prediction about Mars crashing into Earth, colliding with Earth, I keep thinking about it, just like how vulnerable we are, and how, like, the fact that it would just be, I don't know, it's just crazy, isn't it? It's like the species on Earth have been wiped out 6 times. Like, we think it was just like, the dinosaurs got here, but it wasn't just, it was like 6 times that organic matter has formed into life and then grown into different stuff, and then they've been wiped out by something hitting Earth. And I'm just like, well, what's to stop that from happening any second? So, that's an unnecessary anxiety added to my list of stuff. So prediction for the future, 6 months time. I'm hoping not, but I think that maybe at some stage there'll be some scientists saying that there's something coming towards Earth, but they're going to be able to do something about it, hopefully.
You know what? I am going to prescribe the 1996 film Armageddon for you.
And they're going to be able to send Bruce Willis into space.
Yeah, they can send Bruce Willis into space.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I just think that if you watch that and you'll be like, you know what, this society never created anything useful anyways, we deserve to be wiped out. I think that's the thing.
That's the other thing. That's been my main concern, is like, well, it would be such a waste if we were wiped out at such an advanced level of, like, as in it might never happen again. Like, nothing, no species may get to where we are in terms of being able to actually contemplate what existence even means and stuff, like, and have philosophy, so if we should at least have something set up so we can try and preserve the human race, anyway, I don't know why I'm getting so concerned about this.
There is a project called, like, The Long Now or something like that is trying to create objects that operate on, like, a multi-millennial timescale for just such an occasion, for just such a thing, right? They've created these clocks that, like, run, they have like a century hand. They don't have like a minute. And it's just a different way of thinking about time and space. But they also are doing, like, practical things, like they're putting massive amounts of information onto small, like, stainless steel discs, or discs that are basically indestructible. So, because there is a school of thought that civilized life has evolved before and it's just gone away. Because the time scale of Earth is such that if another civilization evolved and was wiped away, there's no way that we could know that, because it would just be so, like, over time, like, the things that people build are eventually just, like, erased. So, but, as far as, like, other civilizations knowing we existed, we've put a lot of pollution and nuclear materials into the Earth, so that'll show up, and plastic also. So you can feel good about that.
I think
People
it's more
know.
just like they'll probably, I guess that's why they're trying to send people to Mars, right? Because it's that thing of like, well, there's some way we can continue the human race if Earth doesn't exist anymore. I mean, this is just horrifically depressing.
No, I think that the idea of sending people to Mars, I feel it is a noble and useful thing to do, and I feel like colonizing other planets and things like that. But the idea that you would go to another planet as a solution to life ending on this planet feels stupid, because this planet, no matter how much we fuck it up, it'll still be like 90% suitable for human life. Whereas if you went to like Mars, there's like no atmosphere on Mars, or there's a very thin atmosphere on Mars. So you in order to make it livable, you'd have to put so much effort and energy into it. It's like you could probably put the same amount of effort into making Earth livable again, and it would be, and you'd actually get anyways, that doesn't.
No, I totally get it. I've thought about that so many times. I've thought just like, why don't they actually just, if they put the amount of money they're putting into the space program to send people to Mars, into just like getting the top scientists to actually work on something to like, I don't know, fix global warming or whatever, then maybe or climate change it's called now, I think. But maybe we'd, not have climate change is such an issue. But at the same time, now I used to think that, but now my concern is the whole thing of like, well, if something wipes everything out and it's not possible to, as in like if something comes towards Earth and it's not us destroying Earth that's the problem, it's something else destroying Earth. That's where I'm like, oh, I guess it makes sense to try and find somewhere else just to preserve human life so that it's not lost forever, Yeah. But then I also get all like existential, like, well, in the scheme of things, what does anything matter? So anyway, on that really positive, beautiful note, I'm super excited to talk to our guests today. Like, this is really special to me for reasons that will become obvious, I guess, when we talk to them.
Yes.
But yeah.
Me too.
Very excited.
Yes. So let's get on with our interview. Please welcome to the show Grace Newton-Wordsworth and Aaron Birch of Joan and the Giants. How you doing today, guys?
Howdy.
Hello. Thank you for having us. This is so exciting to be on the show.
It's exciting to have you on the show. For those of you who don't know, they are an indie pop band from Australia, and you might be like, I've never heard their music before. And that's not true, because they are the people who composed our theme song. So
That was all Aaron. Aaron's a genius behind that.
Oh, okay.
That's as happy as our music gets, I gotta say.
Yeah. Gets in my head,
I love
though.
it. It does.
It is very
Will came in the other day and was like, did Aaron compose that bit as well? It was like one of the transitional bits. And I was like, yeah, he did. And he was just like, wow, that's like a proper podcast, like, theme of it. And I was like,
I was like overjoyed.
I was like a headless chook, to be honest. I didn't know what I was doing.
You killed it, though. You absolutely smashed it.
You just entered
love
a fugue
it.
state, and just like the music just came out of you.
Exactly.
Look, to be honest, that is like the Joan and the Giants peak. Like, just don't go and listen to our music. That's all you have to listen to, because that's it. That's as good as it's gonna get.
Yeah.
like, that's very
good.
I'm also like, I'm gonna send a contract for my royalties as well.
Yeah.
So
any day. Oh God, Matt, we better start saving.
$10,000, please.
As soon as we start getting, guys, we need you to sign on to our Patreon, because Aaron is extremely litigious and
Money obsessed.
so no, but yeah, the theme song is like 90% of why we sound even moderately professional as a podcast. So thank you for that.
no way, you guys. This whole podcast is awesome. We were driving back from Esperance, which is like a little coastal town, and we listened to the first episode and loved it.
We
So
loved it. We loved
just
Jordan,
awesome.
your first guest.
Oh,
It is Jordan,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Jordan
She
was
was
fantastic.
brilliant. We
Thank
loved
you.
her. Absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant. And yeah, the first episode was so good. You've
Downhill from
released
there,
2
but-
episodes. It's
Yeah.
just going so well. Like we're absolutely stoked to be on it, because I think the whole concept is brilliant. Like the whole 6 months later thing. It's such a good idea.
Oh,
So well done.
That's
I
very
mean, it
nice
was
of
one
you
of
to
those
say.
things that we were quite nervous, I think, about, in that it was like, well, you have to do 6 months worth of work before you know whether it's going to actually work as a concept. And for those of you who are wondering, Grace does not happen to just randomly have the same last name as me. It's not one of those things where, like, it's a really common name, Newton-Wordsworth, just loads of people.
Tara is a huge fan of Joan and the Giants, and she changed her name legally
Yes.
To Newton-Wordsworth to pretend like they're sisters.
Yeah, we were a bit worried. She's been stalking us for years.
I
It's
appreciate
not
you being
good.
on the podcast despite Tara's clear insanity.
You gotta face your fears. Face your fears.
But in all honesty, she's my big sister, and yeah, it's really exciting to be to be on a podcast with my sister. So thanks for having us.
It's really nice. Grace, to me, looks like me when I was so much younger and so much less tired.
No, I'm so tired. I just don't have 2 kids. I have a relationship that's tiring enough, I think.
She's one big kid.
And I have a cat, and that is exhausting. Our cat exhausts us.
The cat videos you've been doing recently have been really funny.
Thank you. We were in lockdown for 1 week, and that's what happened. So I don't know how you guys have done it for as long as you have.
We've already
It's
eaten our
full on.
cats for food. It's just,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I thought my cat was a lot of trouble, and now I have a baby, and I'm like, oh, this cat was so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. I have no idea what it'd be like to be a parent.
I just like being the uncle that gets to give them back. That's the best thing.
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
so good.
Aaron is like gifted with children. When we came
Really?
over,
He does have a
like
gift.
it was literally like Charlie was so happy being held by Aaron. Anyone else, Charlie was like crying, but Aaron just took him immediately, and he was just like, it was literally like Aaron was like another dad. It was so sweet.
It's true.
Yeah, when
You
I
have a
came
gift.
over a while back and I was pregnant with Sammy and I got really sick and I had to go into hospital, and Aaron and Grace had to look after Charlie overnight
God.
without me, and it was
That
the
was
first
so
time.
stressful.
It was the first time I'd been away from him, and I honestly was like freaking out. I was so scared, and then I
Really?
got back. Then did I stay in the hospital?
You did, and it was the most terrifying like day of my life. I was like yelling at nurses because Tara had a baby inside of her, and she was like screaming, and I was like, "She has a child!" And it was just so stressful. I was screaming at everyone in the hospital, and then it's a very long story. It's a hilarious story, but that was a very stressful day, and thank goodness for Aaron, because I would not have been able to look after Charlie.
It was
at
so
all.
amazing though, because I obviously get back the next day like freaking out that Charlie's gonna have been like really like anxious without me, and Aaron just like strolls out and like and Charlie's just like attached to him and so happy, just like so happy, and I was like, oh okay, well I wasn't missed, so that's good.
It's good to know I can be so easily replaced.
Lots and lots of treats.
That was also the time that I fed Charlie sugar, and Will and Tara had never given Charlie sugar ever, and Tara was screaming at me because I gave him a biscuit. And she was like, "Why would you give him a biscuit? Like, we've never given him sugar." And I had
Come
no
out
idea.
and you're like feeding him chocolate fingers, and he's literally never had any form of sugar in his life. It's like, why are you feeding him chocolate fingers?
It's what aunties do.
Yeah,
Right.
but that was hilarious. But then obviously Sam has had everything, like as in there was no worrying about. I think it's just a first child thing, because you just think like, no, they can't have sugar until they're whatever age. And then with Sam, he's been eating sugar since he like left my womb.
Wait, Tara, why were you in the hospital?
I had really bad undiagnosed IBS for years of my life due to anxiety, but I had no awareness that I had anxiety, and I also had no awareness that I had anxiety related IBS. So that's been great to find out,
Wow.
because I used to just have this thing where I'd just like go to hospital every year. It was just like standard because I'd be so unwell with so much inflammation in my stomach. But anyway, so that's been
I forgot about that. That was a crazy time. Far out. Wow. Yeah.
I mean,
No,
not the
it was.
craziest time, but
I mean, not as crazy as the COVID-19 world that we live in, but it was a crazy time.
So speaking of these end times we live in, what's life like these days for you guys?
Pretty great, actually, over in Perth, to be honest.
It
Like,
sounds
it's not
like
that
it's
bad.
nice. Like, oh, a week of lockdown. That must have been pleasant.
Literally, it's so easy going over here. Every time anyone complains about being in Perth, I'm just like, please stop, because we have nothing to complain about. We have a great premier who's just worked so hard and kept like keeping people out and locking us down, and he's he's definitely been like, we call him like the daddy of Perth. And
Okay.
he's been a good daddy.
been a great daddy.
Okay, now it's you
he's
say
such
it
a good
more,
daddy.
It sounds more and more sexual, and I do not like it.
Mark your daddy. He is it.
Big Daddy Perth, lock me down, Daddy. Ooh.
Please. But it's been really good, honestly, to be like,
It's-
we've been able to play gigs.
It's pretty much like normal the majority of the time here.
Yeah. And we've been on tour in January, and we're playing shows, and we've been playing shows last year. We were only really in lockdown for about 2 months, I think, a month or two.
Less than that even.
Yeah. So we're really like grateful, honestly, to be here because we've still been able to, do our art and do shows. And yeah, we're so thankful for that. So yeah.
Looks like you guys are doing amazing stuff as well. Like I've seen you've been supporting some really big artists and also playing at really big gigs and stuff. Well, as big as you're allowed to have, I think, because they have got limits over there on the size, don't they?
Kind of, but it's like it's half capacity. So we're doing a couple of festivals coming up, and that's still like a lot of people. It's just half of what it could be.
Yeah. So instead of like 5,000 people in a venue, they'd have like 2,500 and try to spread it out. Even though at the gig everyone just like moshes at the front, so it's not really at all one person 4 square meter rule. But yeah, I think it's just less, as in less people and smaller capacities. But it's still such a good audience, and people are still coming to shows.
It's weird how much you switch back into taking it for granted, though, because we have bad gigs every now and then, and it's just like, oh, I'm never going to play music again. we literally weren't allowed to, and we were miserable for 2 months,
Yeah. It literally, every time I get sad over a gig, or, if I kind of take a gig for granted, I just think about Tara in England. I know that sounds...
That's so sweit.
I do.
It was like, oh, Tara must be miserable now. Yeah, Tara's life sucks. Oh.
I think like, it must be so tough for artists and comedians and stand-up comedy is just like doing a gig, really. It's the same thing. You're performing in front of people. So it definitely like kind of kicks you back into being like, oh, this is amazing. Yeah. This is amazing.
First show back was like crying.
Yeah, we were literally crying.
It was intense. It was intense.
Wow.
Yeah, I was crying. I don't know about Aaron, but I was sobbing.
I nearly cried mid-song, and I was like, push it down, push it down.
Put it into the music, man.
Yeah.
Literally.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Well, that's amazing. Yeah, I was thinking about it today. I'm coming up on a year since I've done stand-up.
What?
It'll be a year
Oh my
next
gosh.
month. And it sucks. So.
So Matt, you're in America, aren't you? You're not in England.
No, I'm in the UK too.
Oh,
so.
are you?
Yeah.
Where did I get that from? I guess it's just because of the accent.
He
It
is
is
American, but Matt lives in Oxford, and he runs the Oxford Comedy Festival, and he runs all of the Oxford.
That's amazing.
Well, you run the Q.E.D lab in Oxford, and that's how I met him, because I started getting back into stand-up about when Charlie was about 8 months old, and went to Oxford to one of the open mic gigs Matt runs, and that's how we met, I guess, about 2.5-3 years ago now. So
That's incredible. That's so cool that you do that. I mean, the fact that you both do stand-up comedy alone just blows my mind.
I'm the biggest stand-up fan. It's insane. Tara knows.
Yeah, Aaron's obsessed.
Aaron, you should do stand-up. You're so funny.
No.
He's been saying for years he's got to do it, and I've never seen it happen yet.
I think
I'm
given
waiting.
up. I've given up on that dream.
I'm waiting on the
I want to be a
day.
professional fighter now. That's not going to happen either.
Oh, wow. That seems like a real jump. Like, I feel like you'd be better off trying to...
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't figure out which would be more brutal, being punched in the face or just, like, having somebody not laugh at a joke.
Or bombing. Is bombing pretty hard?
I think that is brutal. I'd rather be punched in the face than in
I know.
a crowd.
Sometimes I wish... Yeah, sometimes after bombing... after seeing other people bomb. I've never done it myself.
I'm actually so amazing.
I'm pretty great, actually. I'm sure that these 12 months off the stage is not going to change a thing about that. But yeah, I was like, I'd probably rather have been punched in the face for the equal amount of time that it was bombing.
Yeah, it'd be so. I'm glad that you haven't bombed, because I think that feeling would be so hard. I mean, it would be terrifying. Have you ever bombed, Tara?
I've definitely had bad gigs. I've definitely had gigs where I've come off and be like, never doing that again. Hate that. Hate it so much.
Never had a Kramer moment, though?
Did you say Kramer?
Yeah.
Oh, Michael.
Oh, no, thank God. Come off and be like, God, why was I so racist? I hate my racism.
It's like, well, this material's not working. Time to delve into my racism bag here.
I'm so glad you haven't had a Kramer moment.
It's pulling the wrong kind of race card, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, my Lord, that would be...
I forgot about that.
I'd forgotten about it too. I don't know.
It's
I
like-
think he literally just lost his mind. It was
He did.
horrific.
Yeah, that was insane to watch.
The problem with that is if you watch enough stand-up, like especially people working on stuff, you'll eventually see somebody like melt down. And I think it happens to pretty much everybody at some point. Like you'll just have a night where you just can't like cope for whatever reason. And it's the key is to pull it back before it gets racist.
I mean, that's ideal, isn't it?
that is, but but yeah, you see that and you're like, no, that guy's having a bad night, and I understand that, and it's like, oh, he said what now? No. That's not.
That's so
But
funny.
it's crazy these days, and I talk about this with a lot of musicians as well, because one night of saying one wrong comment, you're totally fucked. Like literally your whole career is over. You know what I mean? Oh, sorry, I just swore. That's so bad.
That's
Oh,
fine.
we
We're allowed
Because
swearing.
I heard Jordan swear, so now I'm swearing. Whoops. Anyway, thanks,
That's all
Jordan.
right. You should hear some of the things that the past podcast guests will said. We're definitely not family. Podcast.
Okay, I'm gonna try to steer clear of swearing, but yeah, it's so it's crazy, just even what people say about you, and if you say the wrong thing, like everything can change in an instant.
I definitely get anxiety about that sometimes when sometimes I just think I'm just going to offend. Actually, I had that my little video that I did on Instagram about calling my family in Australia.
Yeah.
Someone commented on that being like, don't undermine what we went through in Melbourne. And I was just like, I'm sorry, this is in no way about my family are in Western Australia. Like I literally was just like, oh, sorry, not trying to undermine you. Most of my family are in Western Australia. And the good thing is loads of people, someone said, oh, don't be a sook. And I just thought that was the most Australian thing ever as well. The word sook is so Australian. Oh, don't be a bloody sook, mate.
Are you saying sook?
Sook. It's like wuss, but it's like something we say in Australia.
Oh, okay.
That's so Aussie.
It's like don't be a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
loads of
we-
people came
Let's
to my
play a
defense,
game.
which was good.
Guess the Australian slang.
Yeah, let's do that. Guess the Aussie slang, eh?
Don't be a bloody
was
galah. Anyway, Matt's going to get really lost. So guys,
Yeah.
what's going on at the moment for you? Like what's happening in your world these days in your life?
Well, right now, we've just come out of lockdown, so currently everyone's wearing
Grace.
masks. Oh, okay. Well, we'll just talk
I'm
about...
offended.
Aaron's offended. Now I don't even know what to say. You go. You know what? You go. What are we doing right now?
Yeah, what do you got to say, Aaron?
We've been
Yeah, you go.
in the studio working up new EP. That's what we have been doing.
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
we're
nice.
up to. So we've
Oh,
got
what's
2
it?
singles in the works, and we're about to go in and record the rest of our EP as well. So it's actually it's a fun time. It's exciting.
Amazing. So maybe
Yeah.
because I'm assuming it'll be done before 6 months time.
Yes.
So
I
we
hope
can
so, or I
release
will
it with
cry.
this episode.
I really hope it will be done in the next 6 months. It definitely will be. We've got a lot of plans for that. We kind of want to have the EP done by June, July, and these singles are being released in March. These next 2 singles, so that's really exciting.
Well, we're released in March.
Oh yes, they
Yeah.
were.
Will be released in. Well, that's great. Yeah. So you're in the process of recording now. You're writing new material and everything for this.
We just school holidays just over here, so we wrote a few new songs as well.
Yeah, we've been having. We love writing. We've got like our own little studio going on, and we're using some great new like software. Like we use Ableton to produce now, and yeah, we just have a lot of fun kind of creating our own songs and our own demos, and then we take it into the studio and record them properly with like a very good engineer. And yeah, that's what we've been doing at the moment. And then alongside that, we've been touring Western Australia, and we're kind of getting ready to do a lot of touring in the next couple of months, and doing a lot of festivals as well. So that's really exciting.
Wow. What festivals are you doing?
It's tricky because the listeners might not know these ones, but if you are from Western Australia, we're playing things like festivals like Nanup Music Festival, Fairbridge Festival, Wham Fest, just a whole bunch of really cool festivals in the next few months. And hopefully in 6 months' time, we'll be doing some kind of more national-based gigs, depending on COVID, like fingers crossed, because that's obviously the goal, like doing a whole bunch of national-based shows. It'd be so amazing. So yeah.
Oh, that's
Tara?
great.
Aaron, what were you going to say?
I was.
Moving on.
It was pointless. It was pointless. So,
I want to hear it.
No, we want to
gee.
hear
No,
it.
I want to hear it too.
I was just gonna say, if you guys have lockdown rituals, like
Rituals.
what do you guys do?
Like
What do you mean,
baths and
rituals?
stuff.
How's staying in the house all the time? Like, do you have habits or picked up any bad habits?
Xbox. That's what Aaron's
Oh,
habit is.
No.
I guess you can't with kids.
Yeah.
Matt, what do you have?
I got into bad habits where I downloaded the Marvel Unlimited app And so I just am constantly reading like comics I read in the 90s when I was a kid.
Wow.
And so I'm like rereading all these old Marvel comics and just like constantly read, and to the point where I have no retention of anything I've read. And at some point I'm just like, do I even like comic books anymore? Like it's so...
Just doing it to do it.
Yeah, I'm just like compulsively reading them, just going through like thousands and thousands of pages of comics. I'm like, I'm not really getting much out of them. I'm not really enjoying them. I'm just like, this is just what I do to switch my brain off, you know? That's
We all have our thing. Mine's just like really stupid TV shows where it's just absolutely just like the worst, like trashy shows, but it just makes me kind of go numb. So that's my thing. Kind of similar, I guess.
I think my thing is just like finding ways to get through the day. So like I know that I start off with my coffee, and that helps me to feel that, I don't know, life has purpose. And then and then it's like, you know,
Coffee
and then
do be like that.
Yeah. And then we do things like, you know, I'll sort of play with the boys that do train building. We've got some epic train buildings going on. And then it's sort of like lunch. And then Sammy has a nap, during which time I normally continue my DIY projects like painting the living room, or I'll go for a walk for some form of space, or I'll make a small comedy video or something. I just have little tiny things that help me get through the day. And then the big thing is obviously like dinner is 5:30, then that is the whole bedtime process, like bath time, and then bed is at 7, and then it's like freedom, where I normally do more projects, because projects help me feel fulfilled.
I feel like you're honestly a lot more productive than I am, and we're not even like in this situation. That's really inspiring. That inspires me to be
I spend
more
a
productive.
lot of time like drinking alcohol and playing Xbox. That's my two things.
That was our lockdown ritual.
I literally feel like if I didn't have children, I would literally just be drunk all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I do that. That's not
It's
very
great.
healthy.
I'm drunk right now.
I think it is hard. Yeah, once you have kids, it's just really hard. You just don't have. You can't do what you want. But you're so filled with joy.
It's so fulfilling. It is. It seems very fulfilling though, to be honest.
I haven't quite reached the fulfilling part yet. Just
Oh,
the
come
tired
on,
part.
Matt. I think that you were so sweet about like being, you know, saying how natural it is and everything. I thought that was really
Well, that was
lovely.
week 1. Now that I'm in week 2, it's all gone downhill.
It's so new for you. Far out. That's so fresh. It's amazing.
It is, but
Far out.
It's full
yeah,
on.
it's hard to remember when I didn't have them though, because it just feels like it's just completely subsumed my whole life, you know. But in a good way. It's nice, but fulfilling, you know, like really fulfilling.
Really fulfilling.
I feel like that's what parents
Says
say
with
over
an
and
eye
over.
twitch.
You guys are selling this so well.
Yeah, I'm really inspired to have kids. Let's go for it, Aaron. Oh, great.
Well, you know, at least you have Aaron to take care of them, right? So you know.
Exactly. I can just
There you
run
go.
off and be free and drink some cocktails by the river.
The pacifier.
Exactly.
Wait, what were we talking about before?
So you've got big
Grace.
gigs coming up. You've got big
Got big gigs
festivals
coming
coming up.
Yes. And I think
Releasing
the most,
EPs.
The most important thing to us right now is just getting these songs recorded and finishing off our EP, because it's just so exciting. I mean, we've had these songs for a while now, and because actually in our lockdown we wrote all the songs that are going on to the EP, so that was really productive for us, because we had so much space and time to just
And
write.
inspiration.
And inspiration. There was a lot of emotions in lockdown.
And post-lockdown. A lot of emotions.
A lot of emotions. Let's not go there. But a lot to write about.
Okay.
A lot to write about, and it's so exciting. It's like when you finish a song, it's just like that full circle and kind of the whole. It's very fulfilling just seeing the whole process kind of pan out.
It's my favorite thing about playing music is being in a studio and recording. It's
Really?
amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
Because you literally go in there, and day 1, I just start with an acoustic guitar, and then by day 6, there's a whole song ready to get put out. It's insane.
It's
It's the
amazing.
coolest thing.
I think for me, like my favorite part of it, I love the studio so much, and I love producing, but I just can't. I just love live shows so much, especially to a good audience, an audience that actually cares about the songs and the emotion, and it's kind of like, for example, when you make someone cry in a show, or they like connect. I mean, not that I want to like make people cry.
Like, cry, little
That's
bitch.
the goal.
Or you wazzer. What was the sock? What was it? Sock?
Sook.
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 Yeah.
Sook.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're like-
sock. Yes.
Cry, you little sook. That's what you just yelling.
Yes, sock. Yeah, it's so fulfilling to me to have like an audience that is so connected to what you're doing and what you're saying. I think that's the best part of it for me.
so great.
And that's like, yeah, it's wonderful.
I'm just a control freak, so I can't enjoy things live a lot.
Aaron literally is. Like, if he makes one mistake, he goes into his dark, miserable corner.
You must never go there, Simba.
Just smash a
Honestly.
guitar. This show is over.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think you do wish you could do that, like, but we're not that. We're
I
not
love
that rock and roll.
I love playing live. Love playing live when the shows
Yeah.
are good.
Yeah, when the shows
When
are
I do
good.
well.
Sure,
When
sure.
the shows
I mean,
are
yeah.
good. There are those shows that are just so bad, though. Those shows that are just like soul crushing, where you feel like the audience has just been screaming over the top of you the whole time. Or, like, for example, we used to play cover shows up in Kalgoorlie, and one time someone was like, "Show us your tits," and it was the same day that
Aaron?
my granddad, yeah,
Then Aaron was like, well, all right, I guess.
he loved it. He loved it.
These B cups.
No, but it was actually so bad because it was the same day Pop passed away, and I get up on stage
Oh.
in like this desert town, and someone's like, "Show us your tits," and I was so mad.
Oh my
I was so
God.
mad.
Yeah.
It was not a good time. So you got those bad shows, and then you got those shows that kind of make it all worth it. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Otherwise-
must say, like, I saw you guys perform back in the beginning of your sort of like, right when you sort of first formed it was a while ago, and you know, you were good, obviously, like you're good at
that tone was like, you were kind of shit, but
And,
No, but you
had potential, so much
No,
potential.
but as in you were good. Like, I remember thinking, oh, they're good. Like they're really good. But then the last time the last time I saw
See, now
you
sound surprised. You're like,
Oh my-
they're good.
thank
Truly,
God.
thank goodness, literally.
But then the last time I saw you, I think I saw you performing the last time at Wham Fest, and you were so amazing. It was literally like seeing you could have been at Glastonbury. Like, as in you were just so in it and so committed, and the music was amazing. And, you know, I was just blown away, like, because compared to when I first saw you, it just felt like you've come together so well as proper artists. And like, I don't know, it was amazing. I was blown away. I really was like, wow, these
Thanks,
guys
Tara.
are going to go really far. And I'm not
Thanks
just
so
saying
much,
that because
Tara.
I'm like, I'm your sister.
Oh my God.
But like, yeah.
No, we really appreciate that. I feel like that was like a couple of years ago. We were terrible.
Yeah, we
then.
don't play any of those songs
Yeah, that
anymore.
was awful. But thank you very much. Yeah, we've definitely changed a lot. I can't wait for you to come back over here one day in probably a few years. But I can't wait for you to come back over here and come to a show.
You can come
again.
too, Matt. You can come.
Yeah, Matt, come over.
Why don't you guys come here? We both have kids.
Yes, let's go there. That's a better idea.
You
All
guys
right,
should
done.
totally come over and do Glastonbury. I'll set it up. I'm going to contact agents. I know people in the music
Yeah, we'll
business.
figure it out.
If you set it up,
Nice.
we'll be there. We'll be there.
Just make sure we're like either the headliner or the co. I'm not accepting anything else.
Yeah, if
I
we're not the
think-
headliner with Taylor Swift, I'm going to be really upset.
You know what? I think this year you might get headliner status.
Why? Because it's
Done.
cancelled.
It's canceled. Yeah. So
Is it cancelled? Nice.
they already canceled.
Just go stand in the
Glastonbury,
field.
Yeah, done. No, that is actually an ultimate, like, honestly, that's an ultimate dream festival to play Glastonbury. That is one of my biggest dreams. That would be so incredible. It actually
What-
makes me want to cry thinking about it.
What else is up there? Glastonbury, Coachella.
Nah, not so much Coachella.
Lollapalooza.
Huge.
Oh, I mean,
Does
if I
Lollapalooza
wouldn't
still
complain about it.
happen?
I don't care. We'll make it
I think
happen.
it does. I think I'm pretty. In Australia, we'd love to play festivals like Splendor in the Grass. That's like one of the ultimate dreams over here. GTM, local festivals. There's some incredible festivals that happen around Australia.
There's only so many places you can play in your city, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
many times you can play those same venues. So
Yeah.
that's where it's kind of at. We're just waiting for everything to reopen.
We've kind of done the same thing now
Hopefully.
for a while, and I think that's why I really like this concept of this podcast, because I hope in 6 months' time, you know, things are more open and we can kind of spread our wings a bit more. You know, that would be incredible. That would be so incredible. But
Yeah.
hopefully that's the case. It's so hard in this world. Like, you can't plan for anything at the moment.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
So
I feel like you
disappointing.
need to make plans to keep hope up, though. Like,
Yeah,
it gives you like some purpose, you know,
For sure.
other than just
Yeah.
not having any idea what's happening.
Yeah, if you kind of have the attitude of like, we'll never plan anything because we're just all doomed, then it's just miserable.
And
Like,
when the
it's
time
so
comes for
sad.
stuff to happen, you got nothing planned.
Yeah, yeah.
true.
So our kind of like we've just booked a big venue over here for our single launch, our next launch, and I mean it could all shut down and we could lose, like, because we're going to put in some money into marketing it and everything. And this is the hard part, because you spend money on marketing things, you promote things with different radio stations, with Facebook, social media and everything. And then that money, it seems wasted. But then at the same time, if you don't do it,
Yeah.
it could be a missed opportunity. So we're definitely going for it, and we're going to continue our launch in April. We're having a launch on April 3rd over here at the Rosemount Hotel, if anyone's in Perth.
But the podcast won't be out until August, so.
Oh, no. Well, shame. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. So it went great, and
Yeah, that's so funny. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully I'm talking like our future
Hopefully
self
it
is
goes.
like, woo.
yeah.
Yeah, that's such a weird concept, isn't it? I'm still trying to get my head around this 6 months
So
thing.
what happens is we have a thing now, and then they interview us in 6 months.
What? That's amazing.
That's what happens.
What a crazy idea.
Wait, did you not? Wait, what? It took us a while to wrap our heads around I don't know, if you listen to the first episode, which you claim you have.
Vigorously.
Look, we really did. I loved it.
No,
I loved
I'm
it.
sorry. I didn't mean to call you a liar, but you are Tara's sister. So,
Oh my gosh,
True.
this is such an
It's under
insult.
attack.
but yeah, we had trouble wrapping our heads around the concept at first. So it's yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. So many of the first episodes, I'm like, wait, are we? Where? What time?
We're family now.
But I was wondering, if because of travel restrictions and stuff, has that affected you going to visit your family at all, Aaron? Because Aaron's from a small town called Beagle Bay. It's Beagle Bay, isn't it?
It's a little Indigenous community, because Aaron's Indigenous. It's a small community that he was brought up in.
Have you been able to go up there at all?
It's like 200 people. We went up last year to Broome. The restrictions were only like pretty much the first 2 months of that little initial lockdown. Like we had interstate borders, so WA was locked down, regions. But other than that, now I can go up. It's just I worked so much, so I can't go up.
Yeah.
Just too busy. It's crazy.
It is hard. I mean, Aaron's working a full-time job and doing music on the side. I work 3 jobs and then do music and gigs on the weekends and stuff. So I think it's pretty full on, I guess, being an artist and kind of going after what you want and investing a lot of money into what you do, and then kind of having to support that as well. I guess ultimately every artist wants to just be doing, their art and just be doing music or just be doing comedy. But sometimes, you got to do a whole bunch of other things for a while.
Yeah, definitely.
Hopefully one day we don't have to.
I was just looking at my tax.
Yeah.
Well, I just did my tax return for the year that I took up my show to Edinburgh, and I literally felt really angry afterwards, having done my books and just being like, I spent so much money. No wonder I have so many savings now, because it's like, guess what? I'm not like wasting thousands of pounds going to Edinburgh. No
kidding. It costs so much. This is why I get so frustrated when people were like, oh my gosh, you're charging $20 a ticket. Like, that's so expensive. Like, it's really, it gets on my nerves when people do that, because the amount of investment.
The amount of times I've let my best friends in for free. It's like,
I know.
you dogs.
Yeah, and they're like
literally.
an
Pay for a
investment
ticket.
banker or something. They're just like making it like 180 grand a year, and they're like, I'm not paying $20.
Literally.
But I will buy 10 drinks.
Yeah.
That's true. I will support the venues.
And I can't believe how
bar.
expensive drinking is at pubs in Australia. We got 2 soda waters, and they were like, that's $22. And I was like, I'm sorry, have you lost your
Yeah.
mind? It was literally the craziest
I have
thing.
really bad habits. I bring alcohol in most of the time. I used to
Don't
have.
say that.
I know I
It's
probably
alright,
shouldn't
we'll
say
cut that
that.
out.
But like if I'm playing a show, like I might bring in like a. I probably
Yeah,
shouldn't
it's
say
a
that
fine.
at all.
Yeah, say it. Who
We'll
cares?
cut it out.
Cut that out.
Definitely.
No, don't cut it out. It's fine. It's funny.
Whatever.
I do. I used to, when I was 18 and very poor, I had like a hole in the bottom of my bag, and I used to literally bring a whole bottle of wine in this hole, and people would check my bag and not see it. It was amazing.
She did it like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
She's like, when I was 18, all those years ago.
I was so young. Forgive me.
So young.
I didn't know what I was
Did you see a
doing,
bottle of red?
including
Last
week.
night. Literally.
I just wanted to say I want to take a tiny bit of credit for the mass success of Joan and the Giants, because I accompanied Grace at many an Eisteddfod when she was like, what, 8?
She did.
How old were you?
Sarah used to accompany me all the time. It was so much fun. Used to play the piano for when we sang like When She Loved Me and all those bangers. The Lion Sleeps Tonight. Whatever.
Yeah, and you were
Just
so tiny. It
absolute
was so
bangers.
cute. Your confidence as well. Like, you just get up there and be like, just like belt it out and then do these amazing bows.
I have got got videos of those bows and they kill me. Like, how embarrassing.
She's kind of the same, but I think
bows were terrible.
I've slowly sucked the energy out of her over the last 6 years.
This is my vampire. I live with him daily.
Yeah.
She's slowly becoming more and more unhappy, and I love it.
I think I've just become a very sarcastic person because of you, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's great.
Amazing. So, guys, what about like day-to-day life other than music? Is there anything that you're kind of loving right, or that you're really into right now?
I'm playing Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Valhalla. That's
Aaron
pretty
loves a
sick.
bit of Halo.
I'm like heavy into Vikings right now.
Really?
The show, he loves it.
The show, the history behind them, kind of. I just really like the show and the game.
Okay.
I don't know any of the history.
Yeah, I was like,
We got
are you
really
reading books on them,
into-
or
Yeah, he can tell you all about Vikings. No, you've never once talked to me about Vikings. But anyway,
Ragnar.
we got really into skateboarding and longboarding. I really love longboarding. But then one night I like fell over and smashed my head so hard, and I had like a bruised face for like 2 weeks. And whenever I went to the shops with Aaron, people
Don't
would like,
make that joke.
no, it's true. People like look at you being like, wow, that is a terrible person. But then I had to be like, no, I fell off my skateboard. And I think I'm just obsessed with my cat. Like, I'm that crazy cat lady. I make cat videos. I film my cat like 24/7.
It's honestly the best decision we ever made.
Yeah.
when did you get a cat?
We
Like
really
ever.
love our cat. Like a couple of months
3
ago.
months ago?
3-4 months
Oh,
ago.
really? Okay.
And he's just changed our life. Like, he makes life so much more interesting. I sound like a crazy cat lady, but I would never suggest anything more than getting a cat. I love
Is it a
him.
kitten, or did you get?
We got it at 1, so it's about it's 1 and 3 months now.
He's 1 and 3. We got him from Cat Havens. We've adopted
That's
him.
nice.
We're great people like that.
You're such a hero.
Well done, guys.
I know.
It was
Thank
like
you.
the prettiest cat there. Not gonna lie.
No, it's the first cat we saw.
It wasn't like we were gonna adopt one with one eye or like half an ear. It was like, no, you stay in there, buddy.
That's terrible.
Let's get the model cat, okay?
You come in, you're like, sorry, do you have any like nice looking cats in here, or?
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Do you have any
But
that aren't
actually-
uggos? These cats.
Yeah.
are-
But then we got this cat, and he's also psychotic. So
Do you think that's how actual adoption works? Sorry.
That's terrible. That's
I
terrible.
bet it is.
We
Oh,
would
it's
have
really
adopted
sad.
a different cat, but he was the first cat we saw.
Was he,
and
though?
We were just in love. He really was.
There was a black cat right there, and it was like depressing. So I was like, no.
Yeah, we were like, this is cursed. Every black cat is cursed. I don't know where that came from, by the way. That's such a stupid.
It is. I've had multiple black cats.
it's
And
such
they're
a-
lovely. They've been lovely creatures.
Yeah, we've had lots of black cats growing up, and that actually explains a lot.
I
to
feel
be
like they're all equally psycho, so it doesn't matter what color they are. You
Yeah.
know?
Our last cat was a black one, and we had a friend come and stay with us, and he was literally like, I think this cat has a demon in it. Because it was
that
a
was a crazy
really
cat.
violent cat. I hated that cat so much. I've never been so happy to say goodbye to a cat. Anyway,
I'm so sorry. That's such a sad experience. Like, that's not meant to
I
happen.
love cats normally.
Cheers.
I do, but this was literally like a crazy cat. It was just, but anyway, it's much happier now. I think, anyway, it's in a better place.
Life is better.
Anyway,
all right.
sorry, Matt, what were you going to say?
I was going to say we should talk about the future.
Yeah, predictions.
For the next 6 months, your goals, you're going to be playing some more festivals, hopefully festivals are going forward. Working on your EP, getting that out in April. Any other kind of big goals for the next 6 months or things you want to kind of accomplish?
So that's definitely our biggest goal. So our 2 singles, the goal is to have them out in March, and then our EP is more like June, July. That's the goal.
Oh, okay.
And then I guess the goals after that are to back it up with national tours, and fingers crossed we can do that in the next 6 months. I mean, national touring is kind of more of like a long-term next 2-year project. In the next 6 months, I think the basis of releasing music is a big goal for us.
We just want to
And
put as much content out as possible this year because
Yeah.
we've kind of found who we want to be as artists. That's so
No, it's true.
No,
You're
but you know what I
right.
mean?
it's like I
Like
found my
we found
body.
who we want to be as a band.
Right.
We have found ourselves.
Yeah.
No, but yes, it's great. So as much stuff as we can release as possible, that's the goal. And life-wise, probably stop working so much.
Yeah.
Even though,
Finish Assassin's Creed.
yeah, that's a real great goal.
Grace, you trying to get down to 2 jobs then? Is that
Yeah, that's the dream. I guess, I mean, that's another part of it. Like, ultimately, the goal is to do less of other jobs and more of music. I think
Yeah.
that's a really big goal.
That's great.
But I think just playing as many many shows, like playing bigger shows, playing festivals, releasing these songs. Like they're our big goals, doing national touring and stuff. So fingers crossed we can even play a national festival this year. That'd be incredible. Maybe we should do a 1 year catch up and see how that goes as well. But yeah.
Maybe have a UK tour come here.
Fingers crossed. Like that is the dream. We're in the next, I mean, that's more of like a long-term 2 year, 3 year project, obviously, at the moment.
We
bigger
also
shows.
want to, this is like a smaller goal, but I still think we want to do way more like charity events this year. That's a big thing for us.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And do a lot more fundraising. We're also working with some different organizations this year and running gigs with kind of, for charities and for organizations. It's hard to explain at the moment, but we've got a lot of plans for sort of different kinds of gigs this year. So hopefully we can talk more about that in 6 months, which is
That sounds
exciting.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Do you have any like big swing predictions for the world for the next 6 months?
I do.
Biden doesn't make the next 6 months.
Wait,
Doesn't
what?
make
Sorry, go
it.
ahead.
Did you say he doesn't make it?
Nah, that's it. He's done. He's unfortunately deceased in the next 6 months.
Wow, that's a big prediction.
That's a really sad. That's
That's
a really
my
sad
prediction.
prediction. I hope not, because I really, I'm digging Biden.
And then his vice president, who's awesome, right?
Kamala
Apparently.
Harris,
I don't know.
love her. My prediction is, I reckon something is
learn
going to go.
English.
Yes, I reckon something is going to go wrong with, and I sound like I sound like one of those crazy people, but the
Ooh.
what's it called?
What she
the
wants to say.
vaccination. I reckon the vaccination. I reckon it's going to have some kind of like zombie effect, and you got your what's his name, Gandalf. Gandalf had the vaccination, so who knows? He could turn into Ian McKellen.
Ian
what's his name?
McKellen, yeah.
Sir
Ian McKellen.
McKellen.
You never know. Like, it could have some kind of dramatic zombie effect,
On
but
just
I don't
Ian
think it's going to
McKellen?
go that
That's
far.
horrible. I mean, it's good that
I mean, you could probably outrun him at his age, right? You could probably outrun him.
Well, that'll be a problem for you guys when I come to visit, because we'll all be having it. So
Well, we're going to have it as well, so maybe we just all join the zombie society. That's going to happen.
I mean, it kind of is. No, I'm not going to make commentary on the world. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
But you have very hopeful predictions for your own life, hopeful goals and predictions for your own life. You're a bit more bullish on the world. So
thanks, guys.
It's hard to be, yeah.
So, Aaron, Grace, we are not going to say goodbye to you, because through the miracle of editing, we are going to continue this conversation seamlessly in 6 months' time. But one thing we do ask our guests to do is to set up a joke or a statement that they do not know how it is going to end. And then we will start the next interview with that end of that joke or statement. And that is how we will move seamlessly into the second part of the interview.
You know, I'm really glad that I heard Jordan do this, because otherwise I'd be like, what the hell? What am I going to say?
I've started thinking that if people start listening to the podcast, we need to, and hopefully they do, then we need to think of a new thing so that we can surprise people now.
Yeah. I mean,
I really like this.
I really like this. So I actually, this is what we're going to say. We're just going to say, why do ants swim?
To get to Antarctica.
Antarctica.
To get...
What,
Yeah.
no, wait, say it one more time, because maybe I didn't get it the first time.
To get to Antarctica.
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 You're actually saying it again.
That's depressing, because I just feel bad for the poor ants that get all the way to Antarctica, and they're like, well, this is not what I was expecting at all.
This just wasn't worth it.
Yeah,
Wasn't
I thought
worth
this was
it
going to
at
be like a
all.
utopia of ants, and it's just cold here.
I know, look, it's not a great ending. It's not a great ending, but what can you do? We're not comedians. That's your job, you know what I'm saying?
We can
That's
write
fair.
a song about it.
I must say though, listening back, I was like, it was really funny. I really laughed listening back to that first half. I don't know whether it's just because I know and love you, but I really found both of you really entertaining.
I couldn't listen. I can't listen to my own voice in anything. Can't listen to my own voice in anything.
Are you hearing Aaron? We're just going to be really close together.
All right, that's fine.
We might start making out. Yes.
Please don't.
The chemistry, the tension, it's so powerful right now.
Do that on your own time, guys. So, Grace and Aaron, how have the last 6 months been treating you?
You know, I am blown away at this whole podcast because I genuinely forgot every single thing I said. And I listened back today, mostly cringed at my own voice, but really enjoyed. I really enjoyed
Why do you?
everything. Like
For
everything
people
that we
who
spoke
are
about.
trying to make a living recording their voice for posterity, You are really down on your own voices here.
No,
Very-
not like singing. Like speaking voice and singing voices are so different.
Yeah.
Like
that's true.
speaking voice is just horrible.
I can't.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
I can't deal with it.
Have you ever heard the greatest example of this? I think is Cyndi Lauper. Have you ever heard Cyndi Lauper talk?
No. Is that bad?
It's horrifying.
Wow.
She has like the thickest Queen's accent you've ever heard. It's insane. You know who Cyndi Lauper is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fleetwood Mac.
That's
I
not
mean,
it.
not Fleetwood Mac. Sorry, I mean,
No, that's Stevie Nicks.
That's Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks. I'm sorry. I mean,
Tara,
I literally
everyone's
just had
got a
her song in
cringe.
my head.
Everyone's got to cringe at you for
Okay.
saying that, by the way. Isn't
No,
Cyndi,
I
isn't
know
Cyndi
who
Lauper?
Cyndi Lauper is.
Oh, girls just wanna have fun. Isn't that her? Am I
That's her,
going
yeah.
crazy?
That's hilarious.
I saw her in concert once. She was doing so much banter in between, and you're just like,
That's kind of
this
like
is
a
like
bell.
nails on a chalkboard.
Matt,
But I love it. I don't know.
because you're a girl who just wants to have fun? Is that why you went to the
Yeah,
concert?
I was a boy who wanted to have fun. I was like, I think boys can have fun too.
Yeah, boys can definitely
They
have fun.
can.
6 months for
That's
us.
my
I don't
feminism,
know. How's
but-
6 months been for us, Grace? We've done a lot, and then a lot of stuff we haven't done.
The last 6 months, it was really positive listening back to the podcast 6 months ago because we actually did do a lot of the things that we set out to do.
That's good.
We had that launch of the Rosemount I was telling you guys about that went forward, did not get locked down, which was really exciting.
That's good.
And we packed that out and got a couple hundred people there, which was really exciting. And that is huge for us because we went for our last launch and we sold like 70 tickets to a few hundred. So that was really exciting for us.
Oh, great.
Wow,
Just to see like
congrats.
growth. Thank you. It was like honestly huge for us. And we played Nat Up Music Festival, which was incredible too. We played a nighttime slot on the amphitheater stage, which was kind of like the prestigious stage of the festival. So that was enormous for us
Oh,
as well. And I
okay.
talked to you guys about that, how excited we were about those festivals, and they were just so good. And Fairbridge was amazing. And yeah, it was actually really positive the last 6 months. The only downfall is the national touring because COVID is very much still a thing over here. Sydney's in lockdown right now. Melbourne's in lockdown. There's another state in lockdown. And so it's very much not looking... We had to actually cancel our national touring shows, which was a bummer. We did have some happening in September, but unfortunately we've had to cancel just because...
Too much of a risk.
It's just too risky right
Getting
now.
lost over there.
Yeah. So everything pretty much came to light except the national touring, and that's not really in our control. So overall, it's pretty positive. We're really stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
great.
that's awesome. You should be so proud because you guys have worked so hard and it's awesome to look back. I think that's one of the nice things about this podcast is you look back and you go like, oh, we actually did do that. That's great. Listening back today, I was quite sad when you said about the national tour because I was like, oh, you know, thinking about the fact that so much of Australia is on lockdown now and, you know, it's just sad that is out of your hands, isn't it? But
I mean,
I'm glad
we
that
planned it,
WA
though. We
's
planned
okay.
it, so that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
At least we,
planned.
Yeah.
we tried to do it.
We tried. Tried and failed, but
Yeah.
tried.
Right. You did the planning bit, so that's
Exactly. Looking
Yeah,
back
that's
at it,
easy.
we've kind of swapped positions. Like I just think listening to the podcast 6 months ago, you know, we were really hoping that you guys would be out of lockdown now at the very least. So I think it's good that, you know, you've come to some kind of, even if it's a slightly distorted normality with no hugging, which sounds terrible.
That's all right.
At least, you know, you are out and about again. I think it's almost a stronger position than what Australia is in right now, where it feels like we're regressing. We're still in the lockdown situation. Sydney's, you know, I'm really feeling for at the moment. And Mark McGowan, the daddy who I was talking about on the
daddy.
last podcast,
Yeah.
I love that. That was
the
so
daddy
funny.
Mark.
He's still our daddy.
I was laughing at that.
Daddy.
He's turning into more of a bad stepfather. No, not really. We still love you, Mark. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
But-
he's nearly a stepdaddy.
Yeah, he's nearly a stepdaddy because he's saying that even with 80%, even with 80% people vaccinated, when we get to that in WA, he still wants to keep our borders pretty locked because he doesn't want
Wow.
COVID back in the state. And that's kind of scary because obviously we want to be, you know, open again internationally and nationally, at the very least nationally, and that's just a scary thought. So I really,
Yeah.
hopefully that changes.
So you're saying he's probably turning into like a regional warlord. Where he's
Yeah,
gonna just
literally.
take over
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
WA.
I'm gonna
Set
join the
himself up
militia.
as king for life.
It's
I kind of wonder though how Australia's gonna re-enter the world because virtually no one's had it in Australia. I don't know. It seems like you don't have any of that herd immunity or the kind of implementing of just being able to live with it, you know. But surely that should have to become the case at some stage, right?
I mean, I think it will have to eventually if we're looking like in the next 5 years. But I think, which is super depressing because Aaron and I are like, we're like 24, 25, ready to party.
I'm in my
what
prime, baby.
In our prime, baby. And yet we're sitting here.
Maybe not
being
looks
like,
wise. Looks wise it's a bit past the prime.
Maybe not looks wise.
But I
That's
feel
not the point.
like
We are ready to partay.
I feel like
in
I'm 35
Ibiza.
because of all the
Get
bad
me
stuff
to
I put into my
Ibiza.
body, but I'm still, you know.
That's all right though. That's part of being, you know.
So anybody out there listening who is in Western Australia, like hit them up. They're ready to
We're
just
ready
show up
to
at their house with
party.
a 6-pack.
We're ready.
And, you know.
I'm totally not ready to party in WA though. I think we've been to every single spot, including the dodgy pubs in WA. We just did a WA. We did a long drive up to where Aaron's from, out of Broome, and spent a month there. So we've been in the hot sun while it's winter down here in Perth. Not for you guys, it's probably summer, but
It's probably summer, but it doesn't seem like that outside.
and gone up to Broome and played some very dodgy pubs on the way up.
Someone got knocked out outside of one. It was funny.
Yeah,
It
somebody
wasn't funny,
it
but
wasn't
you know
funny.
what I mean. It was just like random.
It was so random. We were playing Stand By Me, like the most beautiful song ever, and someone gets knocked out at the front of the pub.
And it was the
ridiculous.
day. It was the day
Oh my
after
gosh.
the Conor McGregor fight, so I got to see 2 fights in a row. It was
So whilst we've still
times.
played some great gigs and festivals, yes, we've still played some dodgy ones. So don't worry, everyone. It's a balance.
Yeah.
It's a balance.
They're not getting too big egos there. Every once in a while, you get that dodgy
No.
pub that keeps you kind of, you know,
Exactly.
keeps you grounded.
keeps the threat of violence around.
Yeah, it's not what we
Wait,
want.
so now that you've seen, you know, the Conor McGregor fight and then the real life punching, is it still your goal to become an MMA fighter? Or
It definitely is. Definitely is. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
But first, I have to get hit in the face a bunch of times. And I think. I don't know.
Absolutely not.
you're having Grace just every day, just wake up like, can you punch me in
I
the
mean,
face?
she does that anyway. To be fair, it's
Yeah.
more like a verbal punch, though.
It's just for fun,
No.
really.
Those
I,
hurt.
I can deal. I can definitely deal.
No, I don't think you will ever do that. Aaron, he loves, you know, warm hugs.
I never
and
want to fight.
he
I never
loves
want to fight.
Hot chocolates. We're currently having hot chocolate right now. It's all very relaxing. I can't see you doing that.
Sounds nice.
It's lovely. But yeah, I don't know where we got onto this train, but the last 6 months have been overall really positive. Yes, they've had some challenges, as life does. It's not all great moments, but it's been overall a really great, learning, wonderful, like adventurous 6 months. We've had fun.
I think we've
3.5
definitely-
stars.
Yeah, 3.5 stars. I give it. Yeah, they could have had more like sauces and stuff.
Yeah.
Still good. Didn't have Wi-Fi. That drops a whole star.
Yeah, exactly.
If only the last 6 months had
Exactly.
Wi-Fi. So are you both vaccinated now? Or
No.
It's actually literally just opened up in the last 2 days to people under 30 for us to get the Pfizer
really?
vaccine. Yeah, so we haven't
Oh,
even been
wow.
able to get onto it yet, but we will definitely get the vaccine. But the Pfizer's the one that we want, and it's just opened up to us, so that's really exciting.
That's great. What I
Yes.
thought was funny about your prediction was obviously Surya McKellen is not a zombie, thankfully. However, and
Thank goodness.
Biden's still alive, which must have been very disappointing for you, Aaron. I'm sorry about that.
Oh my
but
God.
He's a robot now.
I mean, he's been having a rough week, so maybe he wishes he was dead. But,
Oh my God. I haven't even kept up with politics right now. I'm too overwhelmed.
the funny thing was
Crazy.
with your vaccine prediction, Grace, was that I was very much like excited to get my vaccine. Then I got it, and then like 2 days later, they're like, "So the AstraZeneca is giving like young women blood clots," and I was just like, "Great, fantastic!"
No.
So glad that I got the AstraZeneca. But the good thing was, you know,
you're not a young woman anymore?
yeah, for God's sake, Matt, you've made that joke 3 times. It is getting old.
You keep setting me up.
That's so mean.
I feel like I'm young enough for them to not want me to have it. Like, as in
Right.
they're not offering it to people who are under like, what, 40 now? Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm under 40.
Well, yeah, because Alice had a little bit after you.
Exactly,
and
I'm
she's
not
about
even
this-
close to 40. I'm
God.
still in the very beginning of my 30s.
To be honest, Tara, you're ready to party. You're ready to go to Ibiza. Let's get this happening and open.
Yeah. Well, I
Like,
mean,
even though you're, that sounded so
Grace
bad.
is like the worst party hype man ever.
But
let's
actually,
get this
Tara's-
happening, ladies. Yeah,
Get
sorry.
this happening.
What was I going to say? Oh yeah, the vaccine thing. The vaccine thing was fine because they way overblew the like, as in, I wish they'd compared it to the pill, because actually it's far more likely to get a blood clot if you're on the pill, like way, way, way more likely than if you have the vaccine. So what they did is effectively put everyone off getting the vaccine. The reality is the risk is extremely low. Just want to say that now on the podcast.
100%. I think it's absolutely fine. I'm excited to have the vaccine, and hopefully Mark McGowan. Yes.
Hey,
yes, I am.
Just talking about your new EP, how's your new EP gone, and what's the feedback been like and stuff?
Well, we haven't got around to the EP yet because we keep writing songs that we think will be better on it. But we've done a bunch of singles that we've released this year. So we kind of released an EP with the songs, but just separately this year.
That's it. So we actually, I know on the last podcast we said we were releasing an EP. So we basically have released the amount of what an EP is, but instead of doing it all together, we spread it over the year, and that's gone really well.
We just want the first EP to have like the sound that we want it to have, and it just didn't at the start of the year. So we're waiting.
Okay. I was playing your music the other day. I was on a road trip with my friend up north and made her listen to Joan and the Giants, and I actually had to turn it off because I kept like crying. So it just makes me really emotional. I don't know. I think particularly that song you wrote, Aaron. The one, is it called Mother? Which one's it called? It just really gets to me.
Way.
Every time I listen to it, like I can't get through it. It just really makes me cry. It's such a beautiful song. I think it's amazing.
Thank you. I don't mean to make you cry, but thank you. That's awesome.
And I think also... Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, you go, Cha.
No, you go.
No,
I'm gonna go.
No, you go, Matt.
I was going to say I listened to the Advocate, the last one.
Sorry, you go. Yeah.
What? There's going to be so much editing now. Listen, so I listened to the song Advocate. I quite enjoyed that. It was really, I thought that was really good. Reminded me a lot of Nico Case. And
Who's that?
Who's that? Nico Case.
What? Come on.
Oh, wait, what?
No, legit. Because
you don't know who Nico Case is?
Part of Fleetwood Mac.
No, yeah, she's in Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Anyways,
no idea
man,
who
this is
Nico
like
Case is.
Anyways, she's good. You should check her out.
Alright. We get we got
Nico's with a C, with a K,
sorry,
the
Matt.
Case is with a C.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
I feel like I've let you down.
I'm like 100, I guess, so I don't know.
No, it's unfortunate because there's so many artists in this world. Like Spotify are literally receiving hundreds of thousands of songs a week, which is depressing.
But 3 of them are yours.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, boy.
Exactly. It's depressing, but it's also exciting because the world is so open. You can do whatever you want with technology, and you don't need a record label and things like that. But it is a lot more. It's a lot more material.
So that's the excuse why we don't know Nico. What's her face?
Yeah.
Nico Case, I don't know. She was in the new pornographer. Do you know the new pornographers?
The new pornography.
No.
I actually am not into porn, Matt. I'm sorry.
It's a band. It's a Canadian band.
Is that a new one of those pawn shop shows? It's like, Rick, I can't do it. 50 is my limit.
Or is it like a category on Pornhub? I have no idea
I
anymore.
think Matt needs to come to Australia. This is all the humor.
Right.
This is all the humor in Australia.
It's just bad humor. Just bad.
Taking whatever you say and flipping it so you look like silly.
No, we're silly because we don't know the artists you love.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. We will find them and love them. It's
Nico
funny.
Case is great. She's great.
It's funny because with our music, a lot of people compare us to people that we've never heard of. So it's kind of cool because we haven't been influenced by them, and it's nice to, it's cool that I want to go hear these people. So that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing with the EP. Can't stop laughing. That's the whole thing with the EP.
So how many songs do you want for the EP, or like how many?
5.
Are these songs all going to eventually make it to the EP? Is it just going to turn into an album eventually?
No.
It's going to be like, all right, now we're finally going to release the double album.
Yeah.
Finally happy with this material.
I actually think that with music, it takes, with us, for example, we really want to release stuff that we're incredibly happy with, and the lyrical content is really meaningful and important to us. Like, we kind of don't just want to release one of the however many songs we write a week if it's not kind of up to the standard that we're doing. So it takes time to write and fail and write again and fail again, and then write something that you're like, actually, I can hold on to that, and then wait 6 months to get enough money to record it, and then record it, and then release it, and then market it. Like, it's a huge amount of time and work that you put in even to one song. So people just don't realize that when you put a song on Spotify, like how much is behind it. It's huge, huge. So that's why we're kind of taking our time with this EP and releasing the songs separately over the year. Like we're about to release our favorite song yet in September, which is kind of cool that we're doing this podcast now because it's leading up to our ultimate favorite release, our favorite song we've written called Just For You, which is a really meaningful song to us lyrically, and it's probably our most powerful track yet, and it's the one that people relate to live the most. So we're just really excited to share this one, and it's cool because it's going to come out after this podcast, so it's something that we can look forward to.
And if you like Advocate, it's completely different sounding, like completely different spectrum.
Yeah, it's very different to Advocate.
Just a real fuck you to Nico Case.
Yeah. If you like Nico, we don't sound anything like her.
But yeah, we're so excited. It's kind of a new direction for us and the direction we've been wanting to go in for a long time. So yeah, can't wait.
That's great.
Can't wait.
Oh, that's awesome.
You talked about how much you're working. Have you had a goal of maybe working less? How is that working out? Jesus Christ.
Did not happen at all. That's where I ultimately failed. I did not start working less. I think I've picked up another job. I work 6 jobs now. I'm not sure how much I worked before.
Oh my gosh.
You had
So-
3 before. What happened?
It's now 6 and it's very stupid. I need to stop saying yes to things. I just love challenging myself and getting on board with people's projects and helping people out. And I also don't know how to say no. So I've got to work that out. But everything I'm doing, I absolutely adore. It's been hard to drop any of the things. I have dropped a couple of days at some of the things I do, but ultimately I've said yes to more. So that was a fail of the last 6 months. But it's
Kind of
good
missed
though.
the point of dropping the other things. But
Yeah.
Pick it up more. That's great.
It's funny, I find it really hard to say no as well to stuff. And I got asked to do another podcast recently, and it was so hard, but I did say no. Like, because I was initially like, oh, I could do it. And then Will was just like, really? Like...
Yeah.
Because I'm almost all the time, I'm constantly like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I have no time. I'm, working till 10 p.m. when the boys go to bed, and this is like nightly. And then like, I'm like, maybe I should do this other podcast. And I could just tell that Will was just like,
Oh my gosh, Tara, you and I are quite similar actually. We're very similar.
yeah, that's so weird. It's like we're related.
I know,
but
this is crazy.
yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway, I'm going to really try and cut back because I think I'm addicted to being, busy.
I'm the same.
That's
It's an
a real
actual
thing.
problem.
That is a real thing.
It's a problem. It's an addiction. Filling your time to being busy, to being tired, to, it's a lot of things. So that is something I'm for sure working on. And, we should both probably work on because we both definitely want to say yes to everything.
And when you're not doing something, you feel guilty that you're not doing something. That's the bad part about it.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly it. Like, I
Totally.
think Will's much better at switching off and just really relaxing and enjoying stuff, whereas I'll like sit and relax for about an hour and be like, I haven't achieved anything in the last hour, Yeah.
I often
Oh
think
my
about people
gosh.
who like aren't trying to do something kind of creative individually, like that just have like a 9-to-5 job that they're happy with, and then just like, do they always feel like they need to be hustling? It must be really nice.
Must be so
Think about
nice.
this.
I know. Sometimes I fall into that daydream and I think, wow, life would be so much easier if I wasn't creative and I could just go to work and come home and then just be happy with life, Instead
Yeah.
of trying to
Yeah.
constantly achieve the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. It's like
And
an endless
spend
cycle.
all your money on it. Like I was laughing, Tara, at the podcast because you said, like, no wonder you've saved so much money in lockdown because you haven't spent it on things like Edinburgh and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I have done the opposite. In the last month, I've spent thousands of dollars on like recording a video clip, marketing, subscriptions to things. And it's a never ending cycle that hopefully once again will end in terms of like, you can make music or your art a job that, you can
Sustains
live
you.
off. Which is really exciting. It's interesting though, because I also like the journey. We've been working on music now together. We've been writing for 6-7 years. And it's been a great journey where you can see yourself kind of improving over the years. You start at like a 0, literally, just
I reckon we started at like minus 10.
minus 10, I reckon. And then you slowly like see yourself improving by the work you put out, and then you delete the previous work because it's so bad, and then you just kind of keep improving, and you see yourself growing. And that's why it was exciting with the launch in April to see, you know, the growth from the previous single launch to that one, because it's just exciting to kind of see things growing and know that it's improving over a journey. So hopefully one day, you know, when or if we are playing those bigger stages, the kind of dream stages, it's a really beautiful process and journey, because you can look back and see how much you actually have grown and how much work you put in.
Also what makes it tough though, because then you're like growing in the public. That's the hard part about being a musician and having to release stuff, because you're not even, you're not fully developed, and you have to release stuff to the public for the public to like pick apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. It's insane. It's actually an insane choice of stuff to do, and we choose to do it. It's same with stand-up.
Wait, have you just reached your breaking point? You're like, well, you know what? Actually, let's just
Why
quit
are we
the
doing
band.
this?
Like, this is dumb.
I think I've honestly thought about that probably 1,700 times in the last year, because sometimes it just doesn't feel worth it at all. But then, you know, at a show like the one that we had at our launch, where you can see people connecting to the music and feeling something and appreciating and connecting to what you do, it's just, it definitely feels worth it in times like that. But there are so many times that I'm like, I've just spent $7,000 and have no money now. Why am I doing this? Yeah. So I think also sometimes, I think something that you and I have done a lot, Tara, is kind of, sometimes we kind of beat ourselves up because we feel like we're not at a place yet, but actually like sometimes we have to look at what we have done, which is why I like this podcast, because looking back on the last 6 months, you know, we did do a lot of the things we set out to do, and we worked really hard, and it's a positive thing to see the things that you have done. We might not be headlining Glastonbury this year, you know, or a big festival, but like we are making steps toward it. You know what I mean? You know, you got to see what you have done.
It's the weirdest thing, achieving stuff though, because you're always looking for the next thing. That's where you can you have to be really careful not to continually go after the next thing. Sometimes you need to chill, which is what we don't do.
We don't do that. We're very much those people who like achieve something and then we're like, all right, that's done. What's next? And sometimes we just need to learn to just chill, soak up what we have done.
Which is why we like to announce our hiatus from
You're not chilling. You're just out there partying. You're just like, we need to get out there and party.
Ready to party.
That's why that's why it was kind of nice to get out of Perth
and party.
No, we went up to this community called Beagle Bay, which is where Aaron's from, which we've talked about in the previous episode. But it forces you to literally not do a lot when you're up there, because it's just so chill, and you don't have Wi-Fi, and you're just like looking at dirt all day, like red dirt. And it definitely brought on an existential crisis at a few points, because I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do something. But it forced me to just look at some red dirt, you know what I mean? And just chill out. So it was wonderful. It was so good to get up there. On like a more kind of sad note, we went up there for Aaron's Nan's funeral, and it was just incredible the whole way that her life was celebrated. And yeah, it was definitely a very connected experience, that's for sure.
Oh, I'm sorry, Aaron.
That's okay.
I hope you're doing
Stuff
okay.
happens. I'm good.
But it was good, that experience up there. Really good.
It was a great experience. I loved it. Can't wait for the next one.
Oh my God.
It was awesome.
Just note to self, never bring up anything to do with funerals.
Oh my goodness. This is a really great. So how much for this therapy session, guys? 65 an hour.
All right. Well,
But it was really good. I'm just going to say that.
that's good. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed most of the trip.
Yes.
So tell us more about this dirt.
So
Why don't we just cut that whole part out? Because obviously everyone's uncomfortable.
So with
Very
the
red
dirt, we dug it to 6 foot deep, and then
Okay, well, that's not. All right.
with the dirt.
Move on then.
Aaron!
So
Cut it
listening
out.
back to the first half of the podcast, was there anything that like surprised you listening to yourself back then?
I think, honestly, I think what I'm most surprised about is the whole national touring thing. Like, that's definitely a surprise that we still can't do that. I know we've already talked about that, but that's definitely a surprise, because it's just another 6 months, you know? I reckon you guys should do a year as well, because it's just fascinating, like, looking at how life has changed so much. Not that I'm, creating another podcast for you to do, but We'll come back.
Thanks, Gracie.
Yeah, what surprised us a lot? I think the whole thing.
The fact that you just spat on me when you said
I'm
that.
so sorry.
That was pretty surprising. Not
That
gonna
sounds
lie.
surprising,
That
yeah.
was pretty surprising.
We're just so close together right now. We're sharing a mic. Like, what is our life? I think what's the most surprising?
That's all right. What do you think is like the biggest change you've experienced over the last 6 months?
I just think we're kind of like more mature people. 6 months ago was it's so weird. Just clearly, right? Clearly.
I'm ready to hear this argument. Go ahead.
Yes. All right.
I don't think we are.
So death. No.
No.
No. It's just like.
God.
Thanks for ruining my thought there, Grace.
Sorry, you go ahead, Mr. Mature.
Well, I don't know. Just anything. You can see like growth in you as a human any passing time. And it's weird to listen to yourself from 6 months ago and be like, wow, I'm a completely different guy to who I was even like that close, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
It's crazy. I don't know who I'm going to be when I'm 30, and that's like scary.
It is. We're
Yeah.
rapidly changing.
I'm in a quarter-life crisis right now.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah,
That's so
some on the other
sweet,
side of
isn't
40,
it?
I'm like, oh, you're a sweet little baby man. Look at you. I remember that.
Yeah, he is. He's a sweet little baby man. He is.
I am.
You just changed so much in that time, and you're just like, basically, I said like I've looked back at who I was before I was like 34, 35, and I'm just like, oh, that guy was the worst.
Really?
Like, I had
Do
no
you
time
think
for
that,
that
Matt?
guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you think that personally? Is that because you think that you were an immature person, or you just didn't handle your emotions properly? Like, let's delve deeper into that.
Just all of that. Yeah, all of that. Didn't have any real purpose. Didn't really do the things I enjoyed doing, just was kind of a jerk.
Did you start comedy after that? Or
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so
So
cool.
used to start fires too. That was a real
We
problem.
love arsonists. We love it.
What?
Maybe we should share that aspect of.
No.
Wow. That's
But no,
really
I-
fascinating.
It is kind of, I guess it's interesting that you feel like you've changed so much in the last 6 months.
I don't know. I think writing lyrics and all that kind of stuff kind of forces you to be like super introspective.
That's
and so
true.
I'm always like psychoanalyzing myself to the point of like craziness sometimes.
Yes.
Right.
I think it's a kind of cool way to process your life, though. Writing lyrics, it kind of makes you think about stuff you've gone through and actually emotionally process it rather than push it down like a lot of people. Well, we still push it down a lot, but music is kind of stay down. But music is kind of like it's definitely a therapy. And anyone out there, if you're listening to this, like honestly, music,
Start a band.
writing, poetry, lyrics, even if you just never show anyone and just do it for yourself, it's cathartic. It's really cathartic. It's healing.
I look back
So
at some of my
it's really
my
helped us.
stand-up that I find occasionally. I'll find like a bit of stand-up that I wrote, like 2 years ago, and I'll read it and I'll be like, I think I was quite unwell. I was not in a good place. But yeah, it's definitely interesting looking back on stuff from a while ago. So it sounds like you guys are in a good place though. Like as in, even though obviously, like the Australia itself is on lockdown and it's hard to do national stuff. It feels like you've made real progress and you're, and things are picking up still.
Yeah, things like we've literally, as I said, we're about to release this new single and it's going to be a full WA tour all over Western Australia over the next few months. We're doing from the bottom to the top of WA, which is really exciting. So we're taking advantage
All the
of our
dingy
own
bars.
state. Yeah.
No, bypass those.
No, we're not doing them. I promise. We're doing good places.
There is a fight when we get to Broome though. It's gonna be great.
No, don't say that. Let's not bring that upon ourselves. But it's going to be awesome. So we're making the most of the state that we live in, and we're really excited to be doing this. We're excited for the future and this next release, and tying it in, as I said, with charities last time. We want to get some mental health charities, and we're tying it in with some mental health charities for our next release, just to raise awareness for mental health and depression, because I wrote this song for my friend who lost her brother just after our first lockdown over here because he could no longer fight his battle with depression and mental health. And it really impacted me in a big way because she's someone who's done a lot for my life and helped me in so many ways, and we're very close. But she's also faced a lot of her own battles, and at the time, I was just really worried and wanted to reach out in any way I could. And she really loves music and poetry, and so I remember just being up really early in the morning and sitting on my piano and writing this song for her. And I sent it to her that night, and she's played it to her baby like every single day. Her baby loves this song, and
That's nice.
it's just kind of meant a lot to her, this song. And when we play it live, I definitely dedicate it to people because it's a song that I hope can kind of reach out to people when they're going through something. So yeah, we really want to tie in mental health with this song and mental health charities and organizations like Beyond Blue and things like that. So it's looking good to kind of have that focus as well in the next coming months too, which is exciting.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great. Wow.
So that's all happening in the next few months. And so that's positive. Like the last 6 months have been positive. We've done loads of things, and the next 6 months will hopefully be really positive as well in different ways as well.
We just want the touring thing to happen, really. That's the one thing that we haven't really done.
So you've got the singles coming out. You've got the EP building.
Yeah.
You got the tour of Western Australia planned.
Yeah.
So is that kind of what's like? So I guess my question is like, what's next for you guys? Is that kind of like the plan for the next few months?
That's the plan for the next few months. Finish this EP is a big thing for us. Just get it written, at least. Write the song. It's weird because we keep writing songs that we think would suit it better. So it's a thing that kind of, we just have to be like, all right, this is the thing that's happening in this little release, and that's the end of it, instead of like continuing to write songs and stuff like that. I don't know. I think we release the next song, go on this tour, and then relax for the rest of the year. That's the plan.
When he says relax, it's a crazy time in other ways. But definitely the next few months are going to be filled with touring and shows. And then the goal is still national touring and eventually international touring. That's our biggest goal. Kind of the peak, to be doing international festivals and touring. There's a couple of amazing festivals in England I'd like to come over eventually play, and the US as well. But hopefully that can happen. We're just waiting to see, really.
Yeah, the country will let you out.
Yeah. I hope so.
Let's just start with the country.
Yeah, let's start with the country. That's
if the
for sure.
state will let us out, then we can
So
build.
today Australia, tomorrow the world.
Yes.
Today Australia,
And
tomorrow
then
the
Mars.
world. Yeah, not
Dude,
Mars.
imagine.
Guys, I just, before you go, I just wanted to ask one more question. How is the longboarding going?
Oh, I was going to ask about that too. I forgot.
Well, we sadly stopped doing it for a little while, which sucks because we were too busy. But we're planning to do it. We're planning to do it after this, so we might be going longboarding.
Yeah, maybe tonight is the night. We're getting back on the old skates and heading up the stadium. Yeah, we really love it. We really love it. It's honestly just time. And now the footy's back on, and it takes up a lot of the stadium space. But yeah, the stadium is the best place to skate. It's such a beautiful ground there.
Okay. You should get out there.
Good.
Get on the streets. Don't be a sock.
The streets are just
out
a
there.
sock.
And
I was laughing at that
and get out
today.
there and do some longboarding.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to go do it after this. So you've just inspired us.
I mean, we have to clean because we have a rent inspection tomorrow, and then we might go longboarding.
It's just the mundane, isn't it? Mundane daily things. But
Yeah.
gotta do them. Gotta do them.
We're not depressed though. We're super happy, guys. For real.
We actually are happy.
We are so happy.
We're
really
so happy.
Guys.
It's insane how good
you
life
sound-
is right now.
Happy-ish. Yeah.
I love how much sarcasm there was in that.
So, guys, thanks so much for talking to us. You also check out Joan and the Giants. If you like Nico Case, if you don't like Nico Case,
We'll check out
it's
Nico.
all there, guys.
Hey guys, are there any social media handles that people can follow you on? Anything you want to sort of promote?
Just Joan and the Giants on Instagram.
Joan and the Giants on Instagram and on Spotify, Facebook, TikTok. I'm trying to do a bit more. I'm a bit of a fail on TikTok, but I'm onto it. And also Spotify especially, because we've got new music coming up, and this song, the next song is really special to us. So that'll be coming out September 3rd. So pre-save it and get onto that one. We're so excited.
Yeah, keep an eye out for that one.
Epic.
Yeah, check out their band. They're good, and I'm pretty sure that their drummer is Tom Holland in a fake mustache.
Yes.
So,
Yes, he is.
Oh,
well, thanks, guys, and thanks for talking to us. Take care.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
much
much.
love, guys.
Bye.
Can't wait to
Much
snuggle you
love.
in a couple of months.
So excited to
Bye.
give you an actual hug. Mwah. Love you.
Yay. Bye. Love you.
Bye.
bye, bye, bye.
Tavish got 2 teeth. Did I tell you that yesterday? No.
No?
He's got like 2 little teeth. Like they're just poking through, but he's got little teeth now.
Oh, wow. That's exciting.
Yeah. So
God, they have to get all their teeth. That's so annoying,
Yeah.
isn't it?
yeah. Is it
Painful.
just the first few that are a problem, or is it all of them?
No, it's every single one, sadly.
Uh,
But that's what, Cowpole's for.
Oh, yeah.
So
We
grateful
gave
to
him some the other
Galpol.
Yeah. We were like, he's really fussy. We need to figure out maybe this will help. And so we did that.
Yeah, there was definitely a period where we were giving Sam a lot. Like, I would worry about it because I'd be like, we have definitely given it to him for like 3 days in a row now. But, you know, he was so uncomfortable at various stages that it was, But he seems to have been, he's through it now. So that's a relief.
So Tavish is much older now. He's 6 months older, I guess. And it's very different challenges than the 2-month or the 2-week-old Tavish had. So now he needs a lot more entertaining, and he needs a lot more, like, he's at a stage where he's a bit frustrated because he wants to do things, but he can't, like, he still can't move around a lot on his own. So he wants to sit up and he wants to move around, but he can't, which I think is a bit frustrating for him.
He seemed definitely like he wanted to get into stuff yesterday, like at the Story Museum. He seemed really like well up for like doing things, but he's just not quite capable yet. So that must be frustrating for him.
Yeah. He's learning, he's exploring. He still likes to grab things, still his kind of go-to. And he'll sit up, but he can't sit up on his own. So, and then eventually, if he's sitting up, he'll just fall over.
That was actually really funny. To be fair,
it's
though,
funny.
like him just like sitting there and falling. We didn't let him fall fully, guys. Like we're not monsters, but it was quite entertaining to see him almost fall.
Yeah. Because we hung out yesterday at the Story Museum with Tara's boys, and
it's a place to be.
Yeah, it's a thing. And I went in Oxford. And one of the things at the Story Museum is they have a giant bed that kids can just jump on and run around on. So Tavish was sitting on that, and then occasionally he'd just fall over, which is fine because it's a mattress. It's fine. It's soft. And so it's not like I put him down on the concrete and just let nature take its course.
No, it was nice.
The best thing about that was I found they had these big foam bricks. They look like real bricks, but they're just made out of foam rubber. And he loved it so much, and he was holding onto it so tightly and chewing on it. And I was just like, maybe I can get one of these bricks. And I looked it up when I got home. You have to buy them in a pack of 50, and they're like 100 pounds. Too much.
100 pounds?
Yeah.
That's insane.
When you think about it, it's only 2 pounds a brick, but the fact that I have to buy 50 at a time is the problem.
We went to the science center the other day, and they had loads of them, those like bricks, and the boys were like, and they had like little wheelbarrows, and they had construction outfits and hats and stuff, so the boys were being builders and building them up and stuff. But then this one kid had taken literally all of the bricks, all like whatever 500 bricks, and had made them into this wall. And the dad, like other kids wanted to play, and the dad just was like letting this kid, like he had his like giant wall and didn't want to let anyone play. And then eventually our kids came over, and they like just started taking the bricks, and the kids going crazy, being like, my wall. And the dad's like not doing the normal thing of being like, well, you know, we have to share, and these kids probably also want to play.
Was he like, his wall?
He's been building this wall for 2 hours. I don't know. He just didn't really do anything. And then like when his kid was really upset, he didn't do the normal thing of trying to like reason with him that there are actually other children that have to play with stuff too. I don't know. Yeah. It's almost like he's like, yes, stupid kids wanting to play. They don't understand your brilliance.
Our great works.
Yeah. It was just funny. It's funny having to interact sometimes with other parents and kids and stuff, but generally it's pretty good. Yeah. Loving the museums at the moment. It has been so fun. I'm really excited to go to the Natural History Museum at some stage as well. That'd be good.
Some museum.
Was there anything else? Oh, your worries about coffee. Nothing eventuated with that, right? There's no issues with coffee.
My worries were unfounded. Coffee seems to be all right. The global supply chains have weathered the storm, as it were. I guess it's still an ongoing storm. They continue to be robustly weathering the storm of COVID and whatnot. So things are doing all right with coffee. Haven't had any shortages. Probably drinking too much. But then Andrew said that would make us live longer, so that's good.
Yeah, that was great. Great news.
That's great information. Handy information from Andrew Steele. And I think that everybody can calm down about coffee. It's okay. No need to hoard now, but we'll see. But and are you still worried about astronomical phenomena eventually?
No, I feel like I went on about that quite a lot. Like I was like, why am I talking about this so much? That is crazy.
I cut a bit out too.
I think you should cut more out. Honestly, listening back, I was like, I think this is too long. So maybe cut that. But I don't know. I was sort of surprised at how worried I was. I'm not worrying about that. I haven't even thought about it. I just don't think about that at the moment. I've got so much other stuff doing. I've got so much other stuff to think about other than like whether the world's going to end. It's like, well, if the world ends, like then that's what's going to happen. I won't know what's going on. It'll just be over, you know?
Yeah.
So why worry? Anyway, so that's I don't know. I think I'm just really excited about we're in that very heavy phase of like having to pack up our entire life of like I've lived here for almost a decade, and that's a lot to like pack up and leave and stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at. We're very busy, and but we're good. In some ways, it is a world ending for me in that it is this world. This world of England, the life I have known here is that phase is coming. Its journey is finally. Oh my God! For God's sake. Anyway, you know what I mean. And
the chrysalis that was your time in England has finally. You're ready to emerge, a beautiful butterfly, back to where you started as a caterpillar or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if these analogies are really working, but yeah, it's exciting. So before we go, just want to play a Joan of the Giants song. Should we play Joan of the Giant song? It'd be really nice, I think, to play one.
Yes. Well, we'll put it. Should we just put it at the end?
Yeah, we're going to put it at the end. So
Okay.
Be sure to listen to this fantastic Joan of the Giant song. I think you'll really enjoy it.
I enjoyed it.
And then go check out their music. If you enjoy that, go check out their music on Spotify.
Yeah, and you know that they're nice people, so you want to.
Yeah, beautiful
listen to
people.
their music.
Exactly. Well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you as always, Matthew. And thank you very much, everyone, for listening. You're absolutely awesome. And we really appreciate if you can subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. Also, please feel free to rate us 5 stars and leave us a review. We'd be so grateful.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to get in touch, you can just send us an email on 6monthslaterpod@gmail.com. You can follow us on all the social stuff, 6 Months Later Pod. And Matt, where can people find you?
I'm M. Shadorn on Instagram mostly. You can see pictures of my little man, Tavish. He's the world's biggest baby. And also, if you are interested in listening to, I have another podcast called Saint Misbehavin', where my friend Ann and I talk about morality and theology and goofy shit surrounding the lives of saints. So that's very fun. And Tara, where can people find you at if they want to find you online?
You can find me at tara.the.ham. Tara the Ham. That's me. Old Tara Hammy. Anyway.
Great.
Yeah, just come say hi on Instagram and stuff. I'd be stoked to hear from you.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you again for listening, guys.
Yeah, it's great. And we'll see you next week.
In 6 months.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
I stopped the bleeding for now. Fell asleep on the couch, my mouth is dry, and my hands are tied. I'm sick of waiting for you, like a kiss in the booth. It's summertime, but I'm cold July. We found out living isn't living when our love is dying. This ghost town used to be the center of all our desires. With you out, thought time would make it better, but we let ourselves down. Ooh, we let ourselves down. Barefoot in the creek, tried to wash off the feeling. I let you drown, a stain I can't get out. Is it too late to change? Start to self-medicate. I got to get something off my chest. I'm an advocate for loneliness. We found out living isn't living when the love is dying. This ghost town used to be the center of all our desires. With you out, the time would make it better, but we let ourselves down. But
Schweppes, just nearly spilled
don't
water
be
all over
doing
our
that.
laptop.